Hello and welcome to our course Marketing Management Part 2. I am Shashi Shekhar Mishra and we are discussing about brand management. We have this is week 3 and this is the last session of this week 3 wherein we are talking about the basic concepts of the brand management. So, in the last class we have looked into the remaining part of that brand building tools, where I have talked about the brand associations, the secondary associations that can be leveraged to create certain kind of brand image that is being that is the intended image from the company side. So, there we have looked into the types of secondary associations like the company, the country of origin, the channel of distribution. Then we have looked into this endorsement or the celebrity use, and then we have also looked into this that the events and these are basically some of the secondary associations which can be used for creation of the brand image. Then I have started talking about the brand equity models, and then I have looked into the first model, which was brand resonance model, and then I have talked about how the brand equity gets built at the consumer end. So, if you look into this brand resonance model, there are 4 stages or the 4 phases of the brand building. It starts with answering the customer that who are you, so what is the identity of the brand, and then the next stage is what are you, so what is the meaning of that brand, and then the third stage is with respect to this the identity and meaning, what is the response of the customer with respect to this identity and meaning of the brand, and the last thing is that what is the connect that gets created between the customer and the brand. So, this was about this brand resonance model. In that case, the very similar kind of model which also works on this brand building steps, that one has to ensure identification, and then once you create the identifications, then you have to clearly establish the meaning of the brand in the mind of the consumer. The third thing is that once you create these 2 things, the next thing is that you need to elicit the proper customer response. If the customer gets to know, or he is trained to basically understand the identity and the meaning of the brand, then now what is the next thing, what is the response of the customer, how we should react. So, what is the proper response of this understanding is in the form of the purchase or in the form of creation of word of mouth, positive word of mouth towards a brand, or recommending the brand to their near and dear ones. So, these are basically the proper customer response, and the last thing is that convert brand response to create an intense, active and loyal relationship between the brand and the customer. In similar to this brand resonance model is this Millward Brown consulting firms, this branch model, where you will find out that instead of 4 steps of this brand resonance model, you have 5 stages in the branch model, and you will see that these 5 stages are presence, relevance, performance, advantage and bonding. In the first step, where the presence is very similar to what was silence or the identity part of the brand resonance model, where you basically say like, do I know about you. So, a customer answers the questions like, do I know this brand, and once he answers that, the second part of this model is that relevance, that is, does it offer me something. So, whether I know about a particular brand, but does it really offer me something, is it really meaningful to me. So, that is what the relevance is. Then the third thing is that performance, can it deliver on the my expected level, or the as promised by the brand. And the fourth stage of this model is about advantage, whether the brand offers me something different or unique from the other brand, is it really different from the other brands in that category. And the last thing is the bonding, when you are able to basically take the customer through these steps or the stages. The final step of this model is that, or the final stage of this the relationship between customer and the brand is that customer will start believing that nothing else beats it. Like this kind of thing you will see in the customer of probably Harley Davidson, or the commuter of Singapore Airlines, or many other brands which have a great fan following. So you can go back and just look into some of the brands and the responses of their customer with respect to these brand. You will see there is a clear cut bonding between these brands and the customers, and they will hold the belief that there is no other brand which come close to this, or this brand is very distinctive. It serves basically all the steps of this brand building process. Now you will see that one thing which exists here is that as a marketeer you can use this tool to see basically what is the state of your brand, like to existing customer, how many know about your brand, how many feel that your brand is relevant to them, then on the performance advantage and bonding. Now the challenge in front of a marketeer is that he has to let the customer migrate from the bottom of this pyramid to the topmost level, and the more you take from the customer to the from the bottom to the upside, the more probably you will do good to your firm. So that is what basically the utility of this tool is. Then we have talked about brand awareness, or salience or recognition. So basically what is brand awareness, how it gets measured in the real terms is, you will see that brand awareness have a different level when we talk about the measurement of the brand. So you will see that the basic the lowest level of this brand awareness is a customer is not aware, or the target market is not aware of about the brand, which is not basically a good thing for an existing brand. Now the next level of this brand awareness is the added recall of that brand. So when you provide certain kind of cues, when you provide that the name of the product category of which this brand is part, or you basically talk about the celebrity, or you talk about some other cues, then customer can recall about the brand. So that is basically the added recall. And the next level is basically in the brand awareness is unaided recall, like a customer can recall the brand without basically any cues. If you talk about something product category or need, they will they can recall the brand, or if you talk about this in general, they can talk about the brand. And the highest stage of the brand awareness is the brand is at the top of the mind in that product category, or in the minds of the customer. So you will see that as you go up, the better it is for the organization, and the job of a marketeer is to reach to this top of the mind level. Now I am coming to the third type of brand equity model, a famous model given by Professor and consultant Professor David Aaker, that the brand equity is having 5 sources. So there are 5 sources of brand equity. These 5 sources of brand equity are brand loyalty, brand awareness. That is why I was talking about brand awareness. So brand awareness, perceived quality, brand association, and other proprietary brand asset. So you will see that each of these sources of brand equity have certain benefits to the brand, in the form of like brand loyalty has a benefit of creating reducing the marketing cost, because you will see that if a customer is loyal to you, you will find out that you will have a constant stream of revenue. On the other side, your cost of acquisition is 0, and the cost of serving the customer is less, so your marketing cost is less. Also the customer who are loyal customer, they tend to show this tendency that they will be more receptive to the advertising from the firm, they will be more receptive to the new offering from the firm. Then you have a more trade leverage, you have a more basically influence on your channel partners, and also as I was talking about, it helps in creating the awareness. Then brand awareness is basically anchor to which other can be attached, familiarity, liking, signal of substance and commitment. These are the benefit of the brand awareness. And then perceived quality basically is basically something which is a reason to buy or it differentiate a product from the other offerings, and basically helps you in creating extensions. Then brand associations we have also talked about. In other proprietary asset, they are also an important source of brand equity, in the form that when you have your trademark, your logo, your intellectual property rights with you, these basically works in a competitive advantage. These are something which are legally protected for you, and when they are legally protected for you, nobody else can use that, and that basically is a sort of competitive advantage for you, so that you are unique by that thing that nobody else can copy the same thing. So these things basically helps you in creating provides value to the customers, and also creates a value to the firm. This was basically about Aaker's brand equity model. And the last model in this that I am going to discuss about in this brand equity model is this brand asset valuator from Young and Rubicam consulting firm. And then you will see that a brand is seen as a very important intangible asset, and in this intangible asset, when we treat a brand as an intangible asset, we basically see that the brand asset is having two dimensions inside it. These two dimensions are brand strength and brand stature, and this each of these dimensions have two different sub dimensions inside it. That brand strength is having differentiation and relevance inside, and brand stature is having this esteem and knowledge. So the brand strength, this differentiation is about how this brand is different from the rest of the offering, and relevance is that you can be different from the other brand offering, but you might not be relevant to a particular customer's need. So or probably the not only about functional need, you might not be relevant to a customer's psychological or social need also. So you may be basically a car which provides very good mileage, but if you do not provide the social status, then you are not relevant. So that is these two are related with the brand strength dimension. And then you have the brand stature. Now this brand stature is having two sub dimensions, esteem and knowledge. So esteem is about how the customer perceive you, I mean what is the sort of the respect that is, or the certain kind of feelings that comes in the mind. And the knowledge is the information that you hold about that particular brand. Now you will see that when we look into the brand strength and the brand stature, we can basically look into the brands, and we can get it mapped on a two dimensional map, and any brand can be placed on this two dimensional map. Now based on the generic things that happens in the market, we have tried to plot what will be the characteristics of the different type of brands in the market. So now when looking into the brand strength versus brand stature, a new brand will, if it is launched, generally it will be launched with this intention that it has something very new or better than others. So it has a differentiation and it has to be relevant. So you will see that differentiation and relevance are high, but since it is a new brand, nobody knows about it, so esteem and the knowledge are generally very low. For the sake of basically visibility we have created, but sometimes you will see that virtually there will be no esteem or the knowledge about the brand that will be there in the market. Then basically a brand which has a very high brand strength in terms of it has a very strong differentiation and the relevance, a niche brand, you will see that it will be something of this sort, that brand strength is very high, it has a very clear cut differentiation in the mind of the customer, they perceive it to be very different and it is relevant. But still it is, since it is not of much relevance to the mass market, something a brand like Harley Davidson, if you talk about a daily commuter, this brand might be very good differentiating, in fact its esteem might be higher, but it may not be very relevant to the customers. So or something, a brand which in the niche market could be about which most of the people do not know you. So, you will see that esteem and the knowledge is low on that brand. Then you have a market leader brand which is high on all the aspects. So, differentiation, relevance, esteem and knowledge all are very high. This is basically a brand which holds a leadership position. And then you have a mass market brand, but a brand which is basically slowly will eventually lose its market relevance also, because you will see that it has a high it is relevant to basically most of the people in that target market, but you will see, so its esteem and the knowledge is high, but you will also see that the differentiation has gone down, differentiation or that competitive advantage or the superior value has been eroded by the competitive offerings. So, it has been matched by the competitors. So, the differentiation and relevance has gone down, and what will happen is eventually it will become a commodity. So, in the case of commodity you will see that differentiation and relevance are very low, but though it might happen that esteem and the knowledge are very high. So, you can also think of certain examples from the past where the product has a very high esteem and the knowledge. Certain brands you can recall where you still know about those past gold days, where in your childhood you used to see certain kind of brands which you have used in the past, but they are no more relevant today or they will not be purchased today. By basically the utility of this tool is that by continuously looking into this brand strength and brand stature, you can check the health of your brand, and you can also see how your brand is doing with respect to the other brands in the market. Now, this was about the different kind of brand equity models. So, the next concept I am going to discuss about is this Interbrand's steps in calculating the brand equity. So, you have created a brand equity, it is an intangible asset, but what is the valuation, because many times it is accounted, this intangible asset is accounted, or if a firm wants to acquire a brand from another organization, it has to pay a monetary value. So, corresponding to that monetary value, a valuation has to be done for a particular brand. Now, I will tell you that there is a no foolproof method of creating or knowing the exact valuation of a brand. There are different methods. Interbrand is one of the most popular method of calculating the brand valuation, but all these brand valuation methods actually differ, and sometimes the value that basically comes out from the different method varies a lot. So, when you do this kind of valuation, you have to understand that there could be large variance from the different method. So, in this Interbrand step in calculating the brand equity, first thing that is being done is that market is segmented. So, first you do the segmentation in the market, and within each segment of the market that you do is that a financial analysis, that what are the earnings from the brand, and then you also look into the demand drivers that helps you in getting the understanding the role of the branding. So, this helps this basically helps you in calculating the brand earnings. So, what are the earning or the future cash value of the brand that comes out from this side, and on the other side you basically calculate this, you do the competitive benchmarking of your brand with respect to the other brands, and you find out the brand strength from that benchmarking exercise. That basically helps you in getting the understanding the strength of the brand, and ultimately that helps in calculating the brand discount rate or the discount rate with respect to which you can this future cash values can be discounted. When you basically discount the future cash values with respect to this discount rate, you can calculate the net present value of that brand, and that is how you get the brand valuation. One more important concept, or the last concept I will talk about in this brand management, is that how generally you will see that many organization will have a set of brands, or they will be operating in different product category, or within a product category they will be serving different segments, so they will be coming out with a different brands. Now here how do you manage different brands and how do you name the brands and how the portfolio should be managed is important. Now in this this is called basically the brand architecture, where the different brands basically exist. They basically reinforce each other, they help each other, and in doing that they also help the corporate brand, and they also leverage the association from the corporate brand. Now you will see that there are two ends to this brand architecture. One is basically the branded house, something like Amul or Apple, where all the product comes with the name of that corporate house, like Amul butter, Amul ghee, Amul milk, all they are having that one corporate brand name attached to them. On the other side you will have a branded house, basic sorry, this there is a typographical error here. It should be the house of the brand, where every brand is coming with a different brand name. So P&G basically follows that kind of what you say, that strategy of brand naming, where they come out with each name being different, each brand is having a different brand name, and that is why this is called house of brand. And in between you will see that branded house versus house of brand, you have in between different variants of the brand naming or the brand architecture. Like from this branded house you can go for sub brands, where you have one corporate brand, but you also have the sub brands attached with that, like Sony PlayStation is one thing. Patanjali in India also uses that sub brands, where Patanjali Dant Kanti or Kesh Kanti, all those are basically the sub brands attached with that Patanjali. So they use the corporate name also in coming out with the product. Then you have endorsement brand, in the sense some brands are promoted very explicit endorsement of the corporate brand, some are basically promoted with implicit endorsement of the corporate brand, like Kit Kat and Maggi are something coming from the Nestle, which are these are some of the brands which are the endorsed brand, where you have these brands, but the prominent brand is basically the Kit Kat or the Maggi. Nestle is basically on the back side of this. So you will see that why company, now the question comes, why a company go for different kind of naming. Now in case of Amul or any example of branded house, where you want to leverage that one corporate name across all the different offerings, that will be basically one thing where you will like to do a corporate branding. In B2B market you will see that corporate branding is very common, because there are so many offerings from the one organization that a customer will not remember, and the pace of the technological obsolescence is also very high. So because of that, customer will like to remember that one branded house, like they will remember the Microsoft or Cisco. Those are some of the branded house in the case of B2B domain. And then on the other side you have P&G, which comes out with which probably have more than 50 blockbuster brands in its product portfolio. In this P&G, when they do basically this kind of individual branding, is that the benefit is that the risk of one brand don't get transferred to basically the, or if something wrong happens to one brand, it don't get transferred to the corporate brand or to any other brand, by the way. So so that is basically the advantage of individual branding. But the cons of this, or probably the hindsight of this house of branding, is that creation of each individual brand is a very costly affair, that an organization has to put a lot of resources, monetary resources as well as time and the people in creation of that brand. Now the reason for brand portfolios are that why you have multiple brands in your portfolio is also an important question. So companies like to have brand portfolios because they want to increase their shelf space and retailers' dependence on the store. So basically having a portfolio of brand create a larger presence of an organization in that product category. Also basically it helps in creating basically creating options for the customers who are variety seeking. So, the customers who basically choose, who are not loyal to one particular brand, but you will see that they will be loyal to two, I mean like they will not be going in their choices beyond 2-3 brand. So, you basically offer them all those different kind of varieties in your offerings, and that is how you retain the customer also. Also basically this brand portfolio helps you in increasing the internal competition within the firm, and one big advantage of this brand portfolio is that it helps you in attaining the economies of scale in advertising, sales, merchandising and distribution. So, in all these places of channel of distribution or the promotion, is if you have multiple brands, you can buy a TV advertising spot for yourself, and according to your choice you can promote whichever brand you want to promote. So, that actually helps you helps you in saving the money, as well as it gives you a flexibility in your marketing operations basically, or the way you want to promote or distribute your product. So, this is how basically we have discussed about this basic concepts in the brand management in this week 3, and when we will meet in the next week, we will talk about some of the cases and some of the more important concepts and some of the basically examples in the case of brand. Thank you very much.